but it sounds just as good as this. So I wanted to try it, but I needed a second.
Yeah.
I needed a second for.
I've always considered getting one of those and never have. As a matter of fact, I got a guy in Australia. His name's Paul RJ. He's a huge fan of the show, and he's got like 15 microphones. 4 or 5 of them are different levels. And he says and between me and you, these cheap ass things, when Russo bought them, they were $129. And my distributor, if I buy 10 or more at a time, I can get them for like $25, $29.
Always hustling, baby. I love it. And
always hustling.
That's what we got the Hustler Rip Rogers shirt on right here as we come to life.
I've got a surprise for you a little bit later in the show that I hope that you will be a part of.
Oh, of course. I'll always be a part of any rib.
Well, it's not a rib, a rib. I think you're going to be pleased with the shirt I'm going to put on a little later in the show.
Yes.
And we're going to open up with the bowling alley, and then I got a surprise for you.
Yes.
That I think actually will touch even your cold black heart.
Well, we'll see all about that, infidels, because we're coming back live at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. And you know I'm the king of rock, and there is none higher. You sucker infidels should call us sire. To burn our kingdoms, you must use fire, and we won't stop rocking till we retire. And we're never going to retire, infidels, because it's a royal family affair. The Ayatollah Telayi, 19th Prince of the House of Saud, bin Hamin, and the king of Kentucky himself, the Star Maker, the sexy maker nowadays, infidels, bow before us when we come to your town, because it's HAHAHAMIN, episode 9, bin Hamin and the Star Maker, Kenny Bolin. YOLO!
What an opening.
Yes, YOLO, King B. Yes, it's been too long.
I was almost taken aback there for a little bit, but as I've been known to say, birds of a feather flock together. And when you referred to yourself as the king of rock and roll, is that what I heard?
Yeah, the king of rocking the mic, and that's what we're doing here with new microphones.
We're going to be doing. I've got my crown off in the background there a little bit, a couple of them. The one you see off to the far right, I never like to talk about the far right, as you know, but off to the far right, you see the original crown. This is the one that. Who was that wrestler we had in OVW that Cornette couldn't stand? He got rid of him. Russ McCullough. Remember Russ McCullough? Well, Russ McCullough, he actually damaged that original crown over there. And, well, it ain't that one, because Jimmy made him buy me another one.
I was going to say heater.
Yeah, without provocation, I might add. He grabbed my crown and destroyed it. And it was $199. So Jimmy made him buy me another one, and he wasn't real happy about that.
Well, if you're going to go into business for yourself, you better be ready to pay the price.
Yeah, he just grabbed it and slammed it around like you stick.
Yes.
You do realize you're going to have to pay for that. Cornette got in his shit. So, yeah, so that's the replacement crown.
For some reason, the crown cost $199, but he paid $279 in reparations for it. I'm sure.
Certainly. He paid more than that. He lost about $750 a week when Jimmy got rid of him.
Yes.
So, yeah, it cost him a lot more than that. But Dutch Mantel said he didn't have any problems out of him.
That stooge Dutch Mantel, that stooge, what he said WWE.
He stooged everybody off, didn't he?
He said WWE was going to sell. Where is he? His information's faulty. I think he's going senile. It was supposed to be sold by now. I was supposed to get it dirt cheap from what I put my bid in, and then nothing came of it.
I bet you outbid them too. I have no doubt.
Easily.
Well, when you did the financial cutbacks, I believe it was approximately 500 plus wives.
Yes.
And I remember the exact number because when you did my show recently, you had, tough times had hit.
Yes.
Oil was negative $40 a barrel. I went to a gas station in Indiana. They filled my car up for free and gave me a case of Slim Jim.
Absolutely. Said, please come back again. Please come back again.
Deal.
No.
And you had cut back to 432 wives. I'm sure that's just killing you because that's, let me do the math here from Oldham County. That's 78 wives you were down.
70. Well, we lost 33 to COVID. Wink, wink. That's what we blamed that on. So we could keep. Yes, we had to keep the numbers up, keep the heat off us. We get a rebate for every one we turn in there.
If you lose it to COVID, you get a rebate, right?
Yes, I named
that probably paid for itself then.
I named 3 of my daughters COVID, Zika, and Ebola after this. They're triplets daughters that I had.
the disease girls.
Yes.
Or the virus girls.
The plague triplets is what I call them.
Which wife had those, by the way?
Oh, she's no longer here. She didn't make it. She didn't make
had triplets and had the COVID. I'm pretty sure she didn't pull through.
And now I'm stuck with these 3 little brats crying and shitting their pants all of the time. Can't take it anymore, King. I can't take it.
You know what? I've got not to touch your numbers, but as you know, I've got the 10 Asian girlfriends all throughout the Philippines.
Yes.
2 of them have kids, and both of them like to cry a lot.
Well,
And but one of them's got teeth and needs milk all the time. Now, if you got teeth, what in the hell you need milk for? Can you help me out on that?
if you get hooked on that titty, you can't. It's tough to get off of the titty. You know what I'm saying there?
It's got to be doing some damage. But I said, they write me, well, King, we need money for milk. I said, well, how much is milk? And 350 pesos. Well, that's $6 for the powdered milk. They don't have the milk in the jug like we have here in America.
What he didn't tell you is the kid's 17 years old. That's the thing. He's still sucking on that titty.
I think you think it might be her boyfriend.
Could be, King. You could be. Even you could be getting worked in this one in the mail.
I thought it was her kid. I thought he was big for his age.
Yeah, you're usually got the mail order bride thing all on the work there, but
yeah,
I figured you'd be.
I normally work that to my advantage, and $6 for milk. It's not for a month's supply.
I think he spent it on Tecate.
Did.
Yes.
So I'm sorry to hear about the COVID running rampant.
What are you going to do? It's all right.
The harem there and all. I mean, what do you do exactly?
You just replace them. There's just more spots on the roster. That's it. We're always on a talent search. We're always scouting for new talent.
I know. Well, it's always a talent search, and I'm the same way. I have the top 10 Asian girlfriends each week. And
yes.
It's normally the same 10. They just shuffle in order as to where their standings are. And unfortunately, we had to let one go. It wasn't due to the coronavirus. It was due to stupidity and not knowing when to shut the fuck up.
Well, that could be a problem.
So we're actually down to 9. So I do have an opening if you're a hot Asian girl between the ages, and I want to stress, between the ages of 22. I don't even like to go to the 18.
Yes.
Even though it's perfectly legal, and I know you'll stand by me with that. Between 22 and 29. Once you hit the 30s,
Yeah, no, then we have to make spot on the roster again. They've come due because then they get an opinion and all of that. We can't have any of that. And, I saw that Tony Khan, I liked it when he cracked whip on Linda Hogan and put her in line and said, "You're banned, woman." And then I said, "That's not enough. You should tell her that she's not allowed to drive either." That's right. You take that away from her, too. Linda Hogan driving make me sick.
That's scary. Didn't you and your country, didn't they rebuke against law and now some of them actually drive?
The jury's
I'm talking about?
The jury's still out to hang on that one, and they might not be coming back, King. It's a hung jury, and we didn't get a decision on that.
A hung jury in your country is quite different than it is here, I understand.
Well, they don't tell them that. They don't know anything. They said, well, they tried. They tried to do it, but they couldn't.
Isn't there 12 trees behind the courthouse?
No, we like to set up if you're really going to do a good old-fashioned jury hanging.
Like Gunsmoke.
Yes, what you do is you set up 2 cranes and put the wire between the 2 cranes. Then you can lower the booms, wrap their necks, and then you just lift the cranes. Very easy. I mean, efficiency.
Y'all must keep that footage secret. I hadn't seen a whole lot.
Oh, no, there's definitely. You could go on my Instagram. There's plenty of crane hanging footages on my story.
On your Instagram.
Every week there's a good old crane hanging.
Every week? The public hangings?
Yes.
I kind of shy. I'm a little queasy and stuff like that. I might be shying away.
What do you want to do? They canceled soccer. They canceled football. They canceled wrestling. They canceled everything.
So you're saying it's a sporting event?
Oh, it's a big crowds, big draw.
Big draw. Well,
yes.
I bet NASCAR. I was going to say was going to be huge, but they're racing cars in front of no people, nobody to cheer. They're wanting to do that with the NBA. They're wanting to put 22 teams in one city. That seems like an invitation to the coronavirus to me.
Well, if you believe in it, anyway, that this whole thing was.
If you believe that 109,000 people have been killed by the coronavirus,
says who? Says who?
Well, the dead people aren't talking. We don't know what they died of. They could have had the hiccups. These are just the name. Your wives.
These are just the normal numbers that are getting juked, King B. I mean, I'm
cooking the books, as they call it.
Yes, why not? If you get cash backs on the rebates.
Didn't you have? Well, I know that you've been taking advantage of it due to the rebate situation.
Oh yes.
So I know you're not denying the coronavirus because it's been a financial advantage to you. But didn't you actually, back in the days of OVW, didn't you have like eight of your harem die of the hiccups, which I'd never heard of?
Well, no one hears you hiccup underwater. That's the thing, though. It depends on what you call it,
Yeah. If you hiccup underwater or while you're talking, it's probably a death-related incident.
Yeah. Well,
you're trying to rally the people, and then one of the females. I won't say what you call them, but one of the females hiccups.
It's a lot. It's a lot like Vince McMahon and sneezing. I can't stand a hiccup. I can't have it around me. It shows weakness that you can't control the air. If you can't control the air in your lungs, then I don't even want to hear your words. Apparently, so
Apparently.
In Kentucky, it was very easy. There's so many of those infidels that are always falling down a well. So I just got myself a couple of wells.
Isn't it amazing how a lot of people stumble and fall in those wells, never to be seen or heard from again? Because of clumsiness.
That's why they say, "What happened?" And you say, "Well," and like they don't know what happened.
You've actually told them what happened to him.
Yep.
What happened to the Benny?
Well,
you don't need to say anything more.
No.
You've told them where the body is.
Yes, and they don't.
You've basically confessed. You didn't say how he got in there.
Yes.
Whether he tripped. Well, it was like that guy in Buffalo the other day. He tripped and fell. Well, the video footage showed a little later that maybe he had some slight assistance.
And you see all these morons responding to it, and then 57 of the Buffalo police officers quit to show solidarity.
Well, they did.
No, let's hold on there. No, you spin it both ways. I'll show you how you mean this and make money on both ends, King B. That guy is now it's not that 57 quit. This guy's a job creator. There's 57 new spots ready for people to get jobs. We're adding jobs to the economy right now. Look at what this guy did.
I'll buy into that, but and he said all 57 of them can go, but be men and just quit. Don't say you're not going to answer to this first response thing. They just shifted their job. We're just not going to work for him. We'll work for him. So they didn't quit. They just said, we're not going to work for him. Keep our paychecks coming, please. And we'll push somebody else, maybe an 80-year-old guy the next.
Yeah, I'll say make sure you keep an eye on that direct deposit next week. I'm sure it's going to be there. Then we'll see who's knocking on whose door begging for their job back. But I'll have you down in the mailroom.
Now, I know that you're probably pretty tight with Donald Trump. He seems to, he came to your all's defense when they had a mysterious death over there. Now, he wasn't accused of falling in a well or anything.
You saw the footage. I'm right there when he's addressing the House of Sod. I'm in the third row on the left, seventh from the left. Right there, you saw me very plain as day. And look at him. Did he grovel? Did he grovel before us? Well, my uncles just looked down at him. Easily. It was too easy for us. We made him touch the magic ball, the magic globe, and that was it.
The magic ball. Didn't y'all make him dance over there? And he's not a good dancer.
He's a terrible dancer.
That was something.
He's a terrible dancer, not like me. I beat Tracy Smothers in a dance-off. I've crushed everyone out here. No one can beat me.
Good old Tracy. Tracy's a dear friend of mine. You beat him in a dance-off?
Yes, you can find it on my YouTube, 12,000 subscribers.
12,000? Is there it's still up? Can I see this?
Yes, it's up there now. It's me.
Well, I'm not that tech savvy. I mean, I just hooked this microphone up especially for your show, and it may work or do better later, but I'm just not that tech savvy.
Yes.
And so send me the link. I can click yet.
Yes, I will send it to you. I will send it to you. It was a crushing defeat.
So I'm assuming that you're in alignment with Trump because you do this and he dances.
Oh, too easy.
That's puppet strings. In case the people are having a little trouble, that's the puppet strings, and he dances for you. Did you realize he's a big fan of Coke, right? He's a big fan of Coca-Cola.
Yeah, well, not just that. You name maybe Coca-Cola, but not just that. Cocaine as well. He dances for that. I get him up.
Well, you would know better than I would. You know some of the deep dark secrets. As a matter of fact, Russia supposedly has some footage on him that I would say that some of us would like to see, but maybe some of us wouldn't want to see it. Now, you've probably seen the footage. Does it exist?
I might have been running the camera. I ran the director's cut on that. Actually, I had final edit.
You have the unedited version.
I've got a producer credit on there. It's going to be on my. Yes, it's going to be on my IMDb. It's going to be real.
There's money for that. There's money.
Well, the Obamas are in at Netflix now, and now I have it in there, so I'm just waiting for highest bidder between Bezos and Bezos' ex-wife for Amazon Prime as well.
Both of them doing financially very well, from what I understand.
Oh, absolutely. I've been trying to link up with her and make her in the top 10 wives just to increase my wealth overnight, but all of my cousins and my brothers are vying for it as well, so it's not really worth it.
Did you say link up with her? Is that what you said? Or hook up?
Well, I tried to get at her. I tried to slide in her LinkedIn DMs, but she hasn't responded.
Hasn't responded. Okay. Well, it'll happen. I have every doubt.
Yes.
But the reason I was talking, a lot of people think I despise Trump and I hate Trump and all this. I'm drinking one of his sponsored drinks today. Have you heard about the new Coca-Cola product that's made in the honor of Donald Trump?
No, what is that?
I'm sitting there drinking it right here. It's called, and it's in honor of Donald Trump's IQ. Coke Zero.
That's what he's on.
and accomplishments he's made for the United States. Now I know you're going to defend him. I already know that. He's been some people say in your back pocket. Between me and you, because no one's watching.
No,
between me and you, how much do you think you guys have helped him out over the years? I mean, he's not been known as the best businessman in the world, and you and Russia both have helped him out a time or two. I think the Saudis got a little bit more cash than the Russians got. What do you think? I mean, between me and you, I won't tell anybody.
It's quid pro quo. There's scratch my back, I scratch yours.
He does not like that word. He doesn't like the word quid.
He doesn't like any word. He doesn't understand the letter Q. That's the first problem. It's not anything.
He knows the biggest words.
Yes,
but not the small ones. Q throws him off.
Yes, English is difficult enough, let alone to use a Latin base on him that you're already out of there.
Yeah. Well, you're asking for trouble when you did that. I think maybe they were saying that, assuming he wouldn't know what it meant and that he would just act like he did.
Yes.
And it's like when he said that 150 some odd at the time. Don't correct me. At the time there were 156 countries. Who knew there were 156 countries? Well, I have a device right here that will tell you how many countries. I know you know how many countries are there?
One.
One that means anything.
No, there's only one. There's a new world order. There are no boundaries. Countries in your boundary. Yes, their countries and boundary lines are nothing but a farce, Kenny. There's only a power elite, a few of us who've cashed in $225 billion since COVID started above what we were making already. To crash your economy was simple enough to do that. Come in, buy low, sell high. You know that. Look what we did at the WWE shares. I sold all my shares.
I heard some wise man I know well, mentioned the other day about buying low and selling high, and I think you brought up Bezos' name, but he's good at
you never know where you might end up. That's I sold when Vince, Triple H, Steph, and Kevin Dunn sold at $120 a share. I sold too. That Class A stock, that overstock, not that shit. That was down at $26. Now we come buy back in.
Who wants that?
Nobody.
Unless you're buying.
Yes, absolutely. So,
speaking of buying low and selling high, where's oil at today? I mean, that's how you and I became friends.
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started, Kenny. Why would you want to pluck that string, Kenny?
I want the
now someone has to die. You know how my rage lashes out, and later I'm going to have to do some machete job on some poor son of a bitch just because I'm angry about it. I try to keep my calm, Kenny.
Basically,
I tried to stay
calm. My hands is what you're saying. I basically killed one of your staff members is what you're saying.
It's on your head this time, Kenny.
Please don't pick someone I know personally. I mean, I got close to several of your people.
I can't make any promises. I can't make any promises at this point.
You never do. The thing that gets me, though, is back in the day when gas was $5.99 a gallon and you were celebrating like it was your birthday.
Yes.
You were having me down to the compound getting that stuff for 87 cents a gallon. Well, when it dropped to negative $40 a barrel, what kind of, you probably couldn't give a break at the compound, I guess. I mean, what were you doing?
And this is where Trump has heat with me because, I'm always in competition with my brothers and my cousins to move up in the House of Saud, and I've been stuck at 19 for a long time.
Yeah.
But now Trump has no war, and no war means no war profiteering. And no war profiteering for me means no front end, back end, charging $99 for a Coke Zero in Iraq and billing it to the soldier for $1, and the taxpayer gets the other 98.
I got 3 cases of these in the fridge at $99.
Why couldn't you go buy the Coke Zero that I have in Iraq right now and make sure I get paid?
Because it's $99.
No, it's not. It's $1 a can, but the taxpayer eats $98 on top of it, Kenny. This is all.
So for me, $1 a can.
Exactly, Kenny.
Well, I got these for 12 cents a can at Costco.
Christ on the cross, I can't pass up that deal. That's a good one, Kenny. But I'm tell your friends to get the Iraqi Coke Zero. I've got pallets and pallets of it over there. And
Iraqi Coke Zero.
Because it comes out, I caught a bigger deal now that we don't have Iraq war, that the war in Afghanistan is scaled down. I can't ship weapons illegally. That means I'm just getting regular price for weapons. Price for weapons now, not 400%. Come on, Kenny. And now gas is cut. And now gas is cut.
It sounds a lot like the microphone business to me. There comes a point that you can just sell these things for too goddamn much and they won't buy them. I remember when Russo had these $129.95. Apparently that was the peak. When I started trying to sell them for $199.95, I had to come back down a little bit. maybe with your pallets of Iraqi Coke Zero, maybe, I know you don't want to hear this, maybe you got to come down a little bit so you can move the pallets. They're just sitting there, Ben.
I've bent enough. I've bent enough, King. I didn't.
If I got 50 cases of these microphones at $199.95 and they're not moving, and then all of a sudden mysteriously they drop to $79.95, now you're out of microphones and you make some money, and you still make money. You can still make money, Ben, if you just drop those damn things. $50 a can. Buy one, get one free.
You're not the one who has to go to Bilderberg and see George Bush laughing at you, knowing that he got over on you for extra money. That Dick Cheney and them are still got all of the deals that they want.
In the face.
Yes, I might shoot him again, not with birdshot this time. I might shoot him.
No, you don't even use birdshot over there.
That's what he
uses.
uses.
A teaser. No, they would beg you for birdshot over there.
We used to play that we used to play out in the front yard with the 20 gauge, shooting each other with birdshot. That's just a good Sunday morning fun game.
Just seeing who could take it and who couldn't, right? Just to see who a man was. Just to ask. I know you're a tough guy. Learned that the hard way. How many rounds of birdshot can you take and still stand it?
I'm still here, right? So whatever you want to say,
I asked the question.
You start playing when you're 6. You start playing when you're 6, and then you play until you're 15 and 16 when you upgrade to bigger, more effective games, torture games. Who can pull fingernails out and last the longest, and all that, all the fun.
The longest.
Yes, you know how.
Over there, when you play a game called Last Man Standing, it really means just something totally different than what it means in America, right?
You ever tried to play chicken with someone throwing a machete at you?
No.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
I'm not.
We'll see who's got the eye.
Is that your old version of dodgeball? Because you normally just move out of the way, You
only get one chance to get out. That's for sure.
One fuck up and that game's over for you, right?
There are no fuck ups.
And obviously you didn't fuck up.
No,
obviously. All right, well, I'm going to let you ask me some questions. It's almost like I've been you see the bowling alley shirt. It's almost like I've been interviewing you.
Yes, no, that's quite all right.
Ask me the tough questions. Go ahead.
Well, I want to commend you, as I did when I called in on your show and we reconnected, and it was always great to reconnect with you, King B. That I'm very happy to see you drinking the Coke Zero. I'd rather have you just on water as always. Well, but because I've got a big deal.
I got weak during the COVID. When I heard about the deaths of your fine ladies over there, I got weak. And the Donald Trump Coke Zero.
Sure. Well, it's not because of that. It's because I've got fluoride in the water, and I wanted to make sure you're,
my teeth are fine. Well, you might be the reason I only have 4 teeth these days. I can't even get into the dentist because of the COVID. I was going to get the nice dentures and have shiny whites like you got, and I'm on hold for that. I don't know when the hell I'm going to be able to get them, thanks to the COVID.
Well, I'm glad with all the progress that you've made is incredible, and I want to see you really take it to the next level, King B. I want to see you this summer really try and get a workout program to get mobility back, to get all of the blood pumping, and I think you're going to see an even more incredible change if you dedicate the next 3 months all the way to the big celebration that we're going to have again in September. September's my favorite month, King B. I'd love this.
The 10th or the 12th?
Yes, right around there, someplace in there.
Between the 10th and the 12th.
Yes, we do. It's a big 3-day weekend for us, King. And I want to see you looking great. I want to see you.
Just so you know, they celebrate it here too, maybe quite in a different way than what you guys do.
Well, I mean,
between the 10th and the 12th, a 3-day holiday. I mean, pick a day.
It's a big weekend.
Pick a day.
But I think I'm so proud of the work you've done, and now we've got the summer to sweat. I want you to dedicate a half hour to 40 minutes every day to just sweat, King B.
By the way, I sold both of the Cadillacs. I think one of them I had even the last time you were here. When you filled not you filled it up, but your people did.
Yes,
your people filled that car up many a time. I mean, I go in there bone dry empty and roll out of there for about $18.
I didn't feel it at all. I was happy to do it, King B. Not a problem.
I know you were. I could see the smile on your face every time I pulled in there honking the horn, seeing the $5.99 sign down the street. But yesterday, this is a shoot, telling you the truth, bought me a brand new Infinity.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And to infinity and beyond.
You know how I paid for it? I got your idea about those Coke Zeros. It's amazing how many marks will pay $99 a can for the Trump Coke Zero.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I thought you were going to say you paid for it in leftover Our Life DVDs and John Cena 8x10s. They took those.
Now, that's funny you bring that up.
Yes, it is funny, isn't it? It is funny, isn't it, King?
It's funny you bring that up. The Our Life DVDs did real well.
Oh, I remember very well. I think there was...
Until I came up with My Life. My Life was Cena's.
No, let's stop
but I was on that and I never got paid.
Let's stop. Well, you got paid 10 times over. How many?
Well,
how many? If you were to add
creative marketing, I got paid. It's not like WWE was seeking me out to cut me a commission check.
If you were to equate the amount that you took in from bootleg John Cena 8x10s and Our Life bootleg DVDs.
I've manufactured those.
No, I'm not saying dollar amount, Mize. How many cows and pigs had to die in exchange for the amount of those? Would you say 2 pigs and 3 cows are dead because of those DVDs and 8x10s?
It's funny you bring that up too. I'm a huge fan of the cows and the pigs.
Yes, me too.
If I had to kill my own pig and my own cow, I'd never eat bacon. I'd never eat sausage.
That's not true. It's fun. It's once you touch off a 357 to the back of the head of the cow, it's very empowering. They never see it coming. They're so stupid and trusting.
I don't think it. I just tapped my desk, and wouldn't you know, the ice cream hat that fell off was the Jim Cornette hat.
Wow.
They couldn't hack a little tap. It's in the Bolin Club and the BS. It's all sitting there. But the Jimmy Cornette ice cream hat, which I do sell, by the way, it fell off.
He's got to get his run in. He knows when the heels are out there. He can't take it. He's got to get his shit in.
He knows. But back to now, My Life I was on. WWE.
No, that's not. No, don't try and dodge the question. How many cows and how many pigs are dead, King B? If you had to estimate.
I'm ready to answer that question
if
you'll let me. There was My Life was the first one. That was Cena's. Well, it wasn't just his life. I made him. I created him. I took him from dirt. I got him out of that stupid robot gimmick he was doing. I traveled up and down the roads with him. I taught him the business. Not Jim Cornette, not Danny Davis, not the Hustler. How many times did John Cena ever get in a car with Jim Cornette and ride to the towns with him? How many times did John Cena get in a vehicle with Danny Davis and ride up and down the roads with him? How many
what
times
were you trading? What were you trading for Golden Corral meals at that time before the John Cena DVDs? Because he wasn't a star. What was the fodder? Yes.
Mark Henry DVDs.
Mark Henry, all right.
Bull Buchanan DVDs. And they didn't, no offense to Bull Buchanan or Mark Henry.
It was tough to get a salad. It was tough to get a salad bar off of those.
Or Sylvester Turkey, you'd get a salad.
Yeah.
You know, when the John Cena DVDs came out, it was all you can eat. Not only for me, you went with me many times.
Yes, that's why.
All you can eat steak, not 2 trips to the salad bar. So Cena, there was a guy on Saturday Night Live, Garrett Morris. John Cena been very, very good to me.
Yes.
Very, very good.
Yes.
He never donated to any of the countless medical funds I've ran. None of the charities that I've ran. Not one penny ever came.
He did just donate to the Shad Gaspard Fund. So once, that was very big. But once you die, then he'll donate. So
he did. Yeah. But I want you to know that you've heard of the phrase per capita, right?
Yes.
Have you heard of that?
Of course. What do you mean per capita? How much? I just told you I've lost $68 million in the last 2 months on no war deals and guns alone.
That's
per capita.
But I'm glad you brought that up, and I didn't even prompt you to do that. I didn't ask you. I was going to surprise you later, but I'll go ahead and surprise you now. Hang on a second. Entertain the people.
Yes.
The 4 or 5 that are watching. Well, wait, I'm on your show. We may have.
What are you
6
talking?
watching.
What do we have? We have 13 here live at Chad's.
Entertain the people. I got a surprise for you.
All right.
I'm going to show you how sexy the king is.
I can't wait. He thinks he's cute. Here. He knows he's sexy. Ooh. He's got the looks.
Look at
that drive, the girls. Wow, he's got the moves. Yes.
Just to show you, really John Cena ain't got nothing on me.
Oh.
Me and the Prince upstairs, Prince Bolin, not you.
Yes, he sends chills.
We donated per capita way more than John Cena
just
did.
A sexy.
Here we go.
Sexy king.
You probably have one of these too, and if you don't, I know you'll get one.
Yes.
These bad boys were, I think, $30 a pop. We ordered a few of them. Let me get my headset back on.
Go ahead, King B.
I probably messed my hair up. That's all right.
No, you look wonderful.
We'll deal with it. And let me turn back in from Kenny Bolin to Clark Bolin, so no one knows. Yeah,
Clark Bolin, yes.
There we go. So can you read that? Can the people read that?
Oh, yes, that's the Brooklyn's own Shad Gaspard, Beast Shad Gaspard shirt from collarandelbow.com with proceeds being donated.
It's not in hieroglyphics, so I wasn't sure if you could read it or not. But there it is. Me and the Prince got a few of these because we were told, and being his Collar and Elbow, that's Al Snow's company, you know.
Yes. Absolutely.
Could be a shady money laundering thing going on down there. I don't know that for a fact.
Oh, well, I mean, if there is, then I want my cut so I can keep my mouth shut.
You want your cut.
I want my cut.
Did you know that at Collar and Elbow, and this is a shoot, I don't mean to brag, I don't mean to boast, but I do like hot butter on my breakfast toast.
Oh, yes. YOLO!
I was the #1 merchandise distributor through producer and distributor through Collar and Elbow for like 2 or 3 years.
Of course.
But apparently we had some Trump supporters down there that didn't like some of the podcast I was doing, didn't like some of the things I was saying and tweeting and Facebooking. And I want you to know they wouldn't return my calls anymore. I sold more hoodies than anybody. I sold more hats than anybody. I sold more T-shirts than anybody. And they cut me out of the deal, man. But just to show you there was no hard feelings, the Prince had to do it in his name because they probably wouldn't have took my order. The Prince, we ordered a few of these and given them out to the boy. Now, the Prince says that all $30 goes to the Shad Gaspard Foundation. Is that true? Is that how you heard about it?
I haven't heard about the split or anything like that. I just know that I've seen a lot of, our connections wearing that shirt.
Well, I definitely wanted to promote this. And like my son said, man, if you can't stand up for the brothers and then the brothers at OVW, but we're all brothers, even the ones I don't like, and there's been a handful of them. Can I name names?
Sure. I mean, we're not going to get along with all of our brothers, but we're still brothers. Well, let's stop right there. Let's stop at Cornette because.
Stop there. Okay.
Yes. Well, I can't. These people are getting terrified, so I'm going to put on my infidel character so they can feel a little bit better about themselves because they're cancel culture and everything else will get sent to Cornette and all the bullshit comes down. But I'm going to tell you some shoots here in just a second.
Oh, go right ahead. Let's do that. I thought you might have a Shad Gaspard, maybe the headgear there. I thought maybe you might.
Well, shout out to Crime Time. Shout out to JTG.
Shout out to Crime Time. Good man. Even you would have to admit Shad was a damn good man.
Dude, he was a big kid. he was a 6'8" kid, man. And JTG, I got to work with a little bit more. I love JT, good guy. But I did plenty of shows with Crime Time, and
I bet you this hit JT pretty hard.
Unbelievable.
I mean, they were very close.
That's massive. His statement was very profound afterwards, and like anything, it's a tragic loss, and unfortunately, I've lost brothers like that in my life.
Way too many. Chris has pointed it out many times, man. That and let's just while we're shooting here, I was the one that wasn't supposed to make it past age 39. Even Danny Davis says, Kenny, you're never going to see age 40. Well, as of March, I turned age 60. And I have seen way too many of my OVW brothers go down before me. And let's face it, man, it should have been me a long time ago. And I realize I'm on borrowed time. And if I hadn't lost this 250 pounds, I would not have been I probably wouldn't have made it. I made it to my 50s, even weighing over right at 600 pounds.
Yeah.
I was like 25 pounds shy of 600 pounds.
And now you feel free. And now you feel free like you haven't for years.
You do.
And you can do another. You could do another 75. And I think you could do half of that this summer, King, if you really. With StevieRichardsFitness.com, which is a simple resistance band program. It's nothing strenuous. It's all at how much you build up, and it's very good.
Well, due to how bad my knees are, something like what he's doing might be more suited for me because DDP Yoga, even though he's been a good man to me, been very kind, and he's reached out, I just don't have the discipline to do that.
You do have the discipline to do it, Kenny. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Maybe you're right.
Here's the thing. When you get pissed off at something, that's when you're the most motivated. So if you can liken it to anger, or if somebody's got to get you hot and say you can't, then you can.
Well, and that's motivated me my whole life. Anytime everyone ever told me, well, you can't do that, or you're not going to be in the top 10, or you're not going to be in the top 200. I remember when I was a insurance rep for Humana, it was a floor of 250 people. And I walked into it and said, man, if I can just finish in the top 100. If I could just finish in the top 100 and get in the newsletter, because the other 150 never got any mentions. And I want you to know within 90 days, I was in the top 10. And within 6 months, I was #1 every month. I mean, it wasn't even a competition. The competition was for second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Well, you're born and blessed with charisma, Kenny, that most people never can ever develop, that you have naturally in twice and triple what most human beings have, dude. So that
means a lot coming from you, man. I appreciate that.
No, I mean, that's why I studied everything we did together when I was still training. I watched every bit of tape 10 times over. So, and learn what comes before you. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to start. You're going to start way on a lower rung.
You've done exactly. You've done for your career. You've done exactly. And I don't know who told us that. I remember I had a long talk with Nick Bockwinkel once, and he was the first one that told it to me. Now, where Steve Austin heard it, and Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and some of those, I don't know where they got their information from, but they did the same thing I did and the same thing you did. And that is take what is within you. Take whatever Kenny Bolin is, be Kenny Bolin, but amplify that times 10. And the Ben Hamin character comes so easy for you. And you could tone that down and actually be aired on regular television, but it's not as entertaining and it's not as good.
No, not as when I'm on the edge of my seat, dude.
But when you take that times 10, people got to understand what it is. These bad guys in the WWE normally, I met so-and-so and he was so nice. Well, there's a reason for that. And people are shocked when they see that I'm nice and that I didn't actually scam every guy that was in it. Not every guy in WWE got
it's
scammed.
It's a rite of passage. You never scam me, because I like to look at you as and I always wanted to keep that relationship where there isn't. And when I paid my dues, I did. It was fun to ride with you and do those fucking work things. But
absolutely.
That's the legacy. You're I don't want to liken you to this character, but not coming up from Kentucky, you have as much charisma in my mind when I grew up as a Boss Hogg character on the Dukes of Hazzard, right?
And some said that I was going to look a lot like him if I'd been a little bit shorter and wore a white suit and a white hat.
I'm not saying
there were some people that called me Boss Hogg, but I want you to know the first time I was ever offended someone, because the people when I was a teenager, and I don't know if you remember this guy or not. You remember an actor named Robbie Benson?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Robbie Benson, what a gorgeous little young teenager he was. And when I was a teenager, some people, not a lot, but some would say, "Oh, Kenny, you look a lot like Robbie Benson."
I could see that.
I was going, man, what a compliment. He had the hair and everything and then the cute little face. And I always took that as a compliment. But as I got bigger and fatter, someone said, and I didn't see it, you don't see how fat you are as early as other people do, or when it's going downhill. Mm-hmm. And even then it didn't motivate me to do anything about it yet. But when people come up, "Oh my God, Kenny, you remind me, you look just like Chris Farley." I went, "What the hell? How the hell did that come from Robbie Benson?" And you can Google that, because I know 90% of you are going to have to. How in the hell did you go from Robbie Benson? And some people might even have to Google Chris Farley from that to that. And then I got far worse health-wise than Chris Farley. Dude. Chris was a vision of health compared to me.
Yeah, but I
remember watching Abbott and Costello and Laurel and Hardy, and it was the skinny guy and the fat guy.
But your addiction's always been food. Chris was doing that plus cocaine plus 3/4 of a bottle of vodka a night, bro. So
but here's what might shock you. It wasn't so much the addiction to food as it was when the congestive heart failure hit and I started retaining all that fluid weight.
Yeah.
When I finally went to the hospital, I checked in at 577 pounds.
Well,
16 days of being on liquid Lasix, 16 days, Ben, I checked out at 505.
Dude.
Sounded like a damn it. They took 200 and some odd pounds of urine out of me. I'm thinking, well, why don't I weigh 200 pounds less? It doesn't work that way.
Well,
577 to 505 in 16 days, all fluid. I mean, I wasn't exercising. Of course, I was eating a little better. You're eating hospital food, so you're not eating the all you
can
eat.
But it's not that. It's about getting these toxins out of your body. So I don't know if he wants me talking about his business.
That is the best thing I ever did. Is when they put me when I had the weight loss surgery, and because they tell you up front, hey, this might not work. If you don't do what we tell you, this shit ain't going to work. And even though your stomach's going to be smaller, you can still gain weight every week.
That's why I want you to get the circulation going.
When I detoxified and I went 6 weeks with nothing but protein shakes, no sodas, no carbs, no sugar, other than whatever's in that protein shake, and maybe a banana mixed in with it for flavor, that was it. And I lost 44 pounds in a little over 6 weeks and hadn't even had the weight loss surgery yet.
Right.
So I'm thinking, well, why don't I just keep doing this and fuck the surgery? Why don't I just keep doing this? But that doesn't work. Eventually, that runs its course, and then you have to make other adjustments. So
now you're up to that next level. You can see the next plateau above, dude. Yeah. And it just takes the work to get there.
Yeah, the great thing is that I've been able to lose all this weight with minimal exercise because my knees. Now I do all my own housework. Now I take the dogs out. Now can walk back and forth to the car. The knees hurt, but I can still do it.
Right.
My goal is to walk to the end of Cherokee Road down to Grinstead Drive and back. I haven't done it yet because I haven't talked myself into it because the knees hurt that damn bad. But I feel like I can do it. And when I look in the mirror, I don't know what the hell you guys see because I know some people lie to me. But I don't see a 60-year-old man. I see a guy at best in his mid-40s. Some of my Asian girls say 39.
No, that just
want to stay on the list.
That Just for Men is working. It keeps the hair brown and it keeps it nice there. Like
my hand to whatever it is you pray to. I have never touched hair color. I don't take Propecia like some people. Never colored my hair. I considered it because in bright sunlight, or if I got the bright lights in the house direct overhead, my 10 girlfriends will say, oh, I can see some of the gray now. But if you're not in that bright light, you don't see it. They think my hair, they don't think I have a gray hair in my head.
I get a gray. Really, look at this is all, the beard's all black, but like I'm sponsored by CanYouHandleBar.com, Wisdom Beard Over. Yeah. They sent me like 3 years worth of product.
Can you use it in your hair? Or is it just your beard?
Well, my hair is thin up top, so I keep it tight.
It's thinning a touch.
I'm gonna stop you right here, King B, because I got something kind of important I want to talk to you about.
Sure, go ahead.
It goes into everything we've been talking about
all right,
life changes, about becoming, whatever age and doing whatever you can in the time we have on this spinning rock in a vacuum of space.
None of us, as Shad and many others of our brothers have proved, you're not guaranteed tomorrow.
No, not at all.
How healthy you are. Who was healthier than Shad?
So with
me,
and this kind of, it doesn't break my heart because I don't know. I've missed Cornette in every iteration of my OVW time. Like he slapped Santino, got left. I was showing up sporadically at that time. Then I moved there. He was gone. Danny's father passed away.
I didn't realize that. I thought you were around for more.
No, within 2 weeks I missed him. Like,
and I kind of feeling in the direction you're going. Just so you know, I still love Jimmy. I know it's hard.
Well, I want to talk to you. I want to get your opinion.
I love Jimmy. He will always, in my heart, be the best friend I ever had.
Yeah.
I reached out to him on my birthday. Even though I think he's the one that was in the wrong. Our friendship ended because Chris said some critical things about him. Jimmy never called Chris a liar, but Chris went on Reddit when Jimmy bailed on me when my mother died, which I never did to him. And people can say that's being petty or whatever, but he bailed on me because he accidentally got on Vince Russo's show. But Vince never aired it. Vince called me 2 or 3 hours later. He says, Kenny, I don't want to be the cause of your and Jimmy's friendship breaking up. Man, I'm not going to air that. I'm going to air your responses, and we're going to acknowledge that Jimmy called. But I won't air his voice. I don't want to do that. He said, I just want to make it clear as to why you look sick to your stomach after that phone call. Because I don't know if you saw it or not. I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
We've only been friends again now for 12 days. My mother passed away. We've been friends again. He called me when my mother died. Thank God. And, but he accidentally got on Russo's show because he called me during the podcast, and Jimmy says, hey, Kenny, how many lies have you told today? And I said, well, my day's just starting. I haven't really told any. Oh, I told a whopper. And then he told the lie that he told, and I couldn't shut him up. And he kept going. And when he hung up, Vince Russo said, oh, my God, was Jimmy Cornette just on my show?
Wow. I like your Russo. That pops me.
God. I even asked Russo, I said, is that close?
Yeah.
This is good a Russo.
Oh my God, bro. Did that really just happen, bro?
Did that really just happen, bro? Oh my God.
All right. So let me stop.
No one says Jimmy Cornette the way that Russo does. Nobody.
So we get to that point and it's kind of been whatever.
Slapping Santino was not cool.
Yeah.
Even I condemn that pretty heavily to him.
There's a lot of people now who deserve. I slap people and they pay me $5, so I can't.
I wish I'd thought of it.
But so I miss Jimmy. But at the end of the day,
I do too. To be clear on that, I miss him too.
Well, I missed him. I mean, in my legacy of OVW, being able to learn from him,
to work with him, right?
Right.
Yeah,
so really Jimmy's style is Rip's style is Danny's style. That's what you're getting, and your style too, and Dean
It's
Hill.
a morph, and it is. We all learn from the same person, and that was
And
Nick
Al.
Doulis originally, and Jerry Jarrett learned from Nick.
And Rip learned from Macho Man. Rip learned from Macho Man and
exactly, Apophos. Absolutely, he sure did.
So like I feel like I'm a child of the Cornette product, but then I'm also a Northeast guy, so I grew up in the Attitude Era, and now I'm business partners with Vince Russo on a lot of things. So
and let's face it, the Attitude Era is what made money.
Absolutely.
That's what made money.
I am in a
and did not insult the fans' intelligence much as Memphis style wrestling did.
I agree.
That was the criticism.
I would watch that stuff on the down south, and as a little kid, I would tune out because I didn't know how good the wrestling was. But I would see the twine holding back some old cigar smoking grandmas and shit. I'm like, holy shit, this is some mud.
It was a different market that they were appealing to.
Yeah,
and I knew at age 10. I mean, just common sense kicks in. And at age 10, I knew that wasn't real.
Yeah.
That they were just like mom soap operas. Sure. They're entertaining. They're working everybody. And at 10 years old, I knew. But you don't watch a Steven Seagal movie to think all that shit's real. And I mentioned that because that was one of my mother's favorite actors. Not mine, but my mother loved him. And Texas Walker. If those guys are on the screen, my mom was tuned in, and she was in John.
Just like some people's grandma, like The Rock and whatever. That's their guy.
That's their guy.
Let me just say though, Kenny, because I feel like I'm in a unique position, and I'll tell you, I'll give you the Stooge report. I've emailed Corny Drive-Thru just asking for an audience. I called and left him a message on his voicemail, and I texted him, and I get nothing back.
Nothing.
And here's what kills me. You're wearing
the only one.
Well,
you're not the only
that's
one.
that's fine.
You know who else tells me that is Rico Costantino.
Okay, but you're wearing a Shad Gaspard shirt, and we all know how precious life is. And this is over some wrestling shit from 23 years ago.
It certainly is.
The Russo and him thing's one thing. I'd love to, just for the money that we're leaving on the table, where I could moderate some. There's nobody.
I've tried to negotiate that deal as well, and he does not want to see.
I
Russo
get it,
but he found out Russo had more money than him, he fucking freaked.
Well, it's a
and
big
he told me, he said,
thing.
"You mean he just sold his house for 200 and whatever grand it was?" He said, "That son of a bitch has got more fucking money than me." I said, "Well, Jimmy, he's a miser like me."
Well, how many people does Cornette have working on his staff and producing content? Does he have Shane Douglas, Stevie Ray, Justin Credible? He could. No. He absolutely could.
Oh, absolutely could.
So
absolutely.
But that's not my point. What kills me, dude, in the time of, I lost a friend who was 20 years old. His car crushed him while he was working on it in his driveway. My best friend, 35, died of a heart attack on a 4th of July picnic after his daughter fell off four-wheeler. And he was a big dude running a check on her. Down he goes, bro, and that was it.
Oh, my God.
So for me, my life is a lot of moments that I live are with them. And it kills me to see 60-year-old men who were friends forever over some tiny bullshit that is really at a middle school girl gossip level.
I call him the 5-year-old little baby because Ben, of course you see me getting this shit every now and then.
Well, here's the thing, and you don't know me. Grow the fuck up and let's talk like men and get it out, because that stress, that anger that he's living with does not do your heart good, does not do your blood pressure good, does not let you sleep at night.
And he has problems with all those things.
Of course he does, dude. That's psychology 101. And if he's a master of psychology, he should know that he needs to get this 1,000-pound anvil off his chest and say, I am capable of love because people know it, and I'm worthy of getting it.
And look, he forgave Triple H. He had that same heat with Triple H forever. He forgave Stephanie.
They're not best friends, though, King. I'm not talking about that.
No,
dude.
oh no, I agree.
It breaks my heart to know that you're in your best. Because here's the thing, dude, and I'll say his name too. Maybe he's listening, and it's constant shout out. I have two friends, and I've said this before, but I haven't named them, and I'll dox them here because it's HAHAHAMIN. My improv best friend Kevin and Ali, dude, from the Insurgency. We haven't talked in 2-3 years. I'll like everything on their timeline, and I hate to liken this to social media because that's so small. And just keep an eye on everything, and I'm like trying to support them. It is radio silence in return. And to me, that's
the same thing. I know where you're coming from. I get the same thing from Cena. Henry responds to me a little bit, not as much as I think he should, because me and Henry were together every fucking day. I saved his job, and he knows that. He's admitted it. Jimmy fired him, and I begged him to hire him back. And he says, "You call Henry after 3 or 4 days." He says, "You call Henry, and you let him know that you saved his ass, and you tell him to get back here Wednesday." When I called Mark, he says, "Thank you, Kenny. No, I'll be there tomorrow. I ain't waiting till Wednesday." And I called him on a Friday night. No, I'll be there tomorrow. And he was so thankful, and he hung with me every day. And I asked him to be on that show that you were on, and Russo and various others. And he told me he had his own problems down in Texas. I got my own fundraisers I'm trying to build. You worry about your shit, and I'll worry about mine. Give everybody my love. I said, "Yeah, I'll do that, Mark." I wanted 15 fucking minutes with him.
It's tough, man. It
is.
It stings. And
I know if somebody had saved my job and I'd made all the fucking money I'd made since then, I wasn't making $900,000 a year. That's for goddamn sure.
We need to find a way to overcome and move past this shit, though, as men, is my point, dude, because whatever it is, and I don't know.
And I have, and you know, I've done this.
He's a leader. He's a leader. You're a leader. And Vince is a leader. Like, it's not about just them. It's just like that shows the smallness of how you are. And he needs to be bigger than that. He can be as controversial as he wants to, and I'm not even saying in public, the fact that you two guys need each other. You need each other, bro. You guys.
I agree with that. I agree with you.
So, I really do. So whatever, this got to get stooged to his producer or whatever. I like that dude too. I like the way he hosts. I mean, and a lot of times you can line up what we're saying on the Raw and SmackDown review with Russo, me and Stevie Richards and Cornette, and the only difference is it doesn't sound like this. And I don't give a French fried titty fuck if I got a fucking accent or not. I'll sound just like anybody. I can switch up. I lived in Kentucky for fucking 3 years, man.
It's not a bad Cornette.
You think I won't go down to fucking Kroger right now and piss in the fucking salad bar just to do it? Because I fucking will, man. Like, dude, like I can assume any face and put it any way you want it, but I feel like to really know true loss, that's the only way you know what you really have. And then once that's gone for no reason, and there's an opportunity,
there's 3.5 years we haven't said 12 words to each other.
There's an opportunity to fix it. I can't sit by with my big fucking mouth and think, dude, if I'm the small key that turns the lock to open the door, then I got to say it and put it out there. But that was a big part of what I wanted to say to you, King B, that shit does break my heart. And if I can be a moderator, facilitator between, I don't think I need to between you two. I just want to see you guys come back together. But with the Russo thing, there's a world teaching moment in wrestling that could happen if we can get past the fuck that shit stain fucking bullshit. Dude, you can do all those swears you want. I've been called a big fat cocksucker by Rip Rogers every day. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings. And if you want to swear back and forth with us, if you want to swear back and forth with a southern accent, I'll fucking draw pistols with the best of them because I got a sharp New York tongue and an improv mind. So you're not gonna outquick me. And I love everything Cornette's ever done, and I've stolen from it a ton. So let's just stop this fucking.
Wrestling is like comedy. We all steal from each other eventually and then tie it in to work with us.
Good artists create, great artists steal and make it their own, King.
There you go. I'll tell you who told me that was a comedian named, goddamn, I'm blanking out on his name. He passed away several years ago. And, but stealing from all the comedians, but he hated when people would steal from him. Tim Wilson. He hated it when people stole from him. But there wasn't too many people that had his act. He was that country, Georgia, Southern, all of his, and he was a diehard Republican, but we were dear friends, dear friend. Oh, he walked to, he'd start sniffing the microphone. I smell Democrats in this room, and everybody was fucking laugh.
Dude, I mean, I get what you guys try and do with the political stuff to get worked, and it's never me being a bang bang Trump supporter. I'm a anti-deep state conspiracy theorist who wants the Clintons.
I see all your stuff.
I want the Clintons to fucking take a Saudi hanging tour themselves. So you know, like I play on a different level of like. What side are you on and this, that, or the other, dude? You know, like everything I do is to needle both sides.
See, I've been an independent ever since I was old enough to vote. And I did have to register Democrat this year because in Kentucky, they won't let you vote unless you pick a side. Or as Jesse Ventura, I'm sure you love Jesse. Jesse used to say, if you take away the gang signs, it would be amazing to see who gets put into office. because so many of us vote solely by the gang sign.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Crips and the Bloods, Republicans and Democrats.
Democrats and Republicans, right? That's his book.
Crips and Bloods, and well, I can't vote with the Crips. So whoever this guy is, whatever the fuck he stands for, dude, I got to vote. I got to vote with the with
dude. You're Pyru. Look at you. You're Louisville Red. You got to go blood all the time, son. You out there.
So you think? But see, I go against Kentucky.
No,
66% of Kentucky voted for Trump.
Well, that's because you're a heel.
Yeah, and but the cities, and this isn't a slap on the country folk because I am country folk. I was raised on every goddamn farm in Oldham and Henry County. The farm people and the people that didn't go to college, I was one of those. I graduated high school, and that was it. I learned on the streets. I learned sales. I learned marketing. I learned wrestling, and I learned the things I loved without going to college, and it made an okay living. Didn't get rich, but I didn't want for anything. If there's anything I wanted, I was able to get it.
You've lived a life 10 times over that any normal man ever would or should, and you still haven't answered how many pigs and cows have died because of John Cena DVDs.
All right. Well, there was my life, there was our life, and then that was selling, so we came up with the rest of our life. My life, our life, the rest of our life. I would say at least 1,000 pigs died. At least 1,000 pigs, and probably 5,000 cows.
Wow, that is
over that period of time, and that's just a rough estimate.
So roughly a 2-month crop on the Omaha range has been sacrificed to John, the greater good of wrestling's protein needs.
When people bitch and say, Kenny, the WWE should have paid you. Look at all the talent that you helped develop. Look at all the times they run your shit on the WWE network. But you notice they never play my promos. Because I think they think I have a case if they play the promos. So they never play, but I'm in all the clips. But that's still something.
Dude.
That's still something in the way. And I never signed a waiver. I'm the only person that I know of that was in that era that and I ain't signing that goddamn thing. Do you realize what that's going to be worth? Danny says, well, you got to sign it. I said, no, I don't. I said, I ain't signing shit. So I never did. So even on the My Life DVD, when they asked me and Danny to be a part of it, Danny signed it and I didn't. Actually, I did. I just scribbled some shit. There was definitely not the Kenneth W. Bolin signature.
What's that saying there? Chris Masters? I don't know. I can't read that.
Chris Masters, for all I know. He might have signed it for me.
Shit.
But no, they never ever paid me a nickel on any of that stuff. Now, Jimmy gets checks. No one's bad-mouthing more than Jimmy gets checks to this day.
Well, we're going to talk about it this week on Light the Fuse. Jimmy just had the revival on, and I listened to the clip.
I heard about, and I haven't seen it or heard.
Dude, Jimmy,
I don't know enough about the revival to comment.
Whatever, they're good. They're good workers. They're like the brain busters, right? They're just technicians, and they were started and stopped. So they're
only an arm of this generation,
and all the guys really wanted to work with them, who are over dudes who are workers, like Orton or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right,
they're workers. That's who they are. And you don't put character guys in there. It's about the stakes you make them in. But they didn't step up, and they got hot and cold at a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But then the Young Bucks and all them went in before AEW was even anything, and they did a fuck the revival thing, #FTR. And they didn't contact them or consult them. They just went into biz for themselves.
Went in business for themselves,
so
which many
now,
of us have done.
Sure, but now FTR is that's their tag name in AEW. So Jimmy goes in hard like he should on AEW and sticks to his guns every week. It's entertaining as hell. I love it. But now he's got, because he sells for the revival, because the revival are definitely like Cornette 101. Like if he has a wet dream of what a wrestling tag team should look like, it's them.
Right.
Aside from size,
from what I've heard, that would add.
They're smaller guys, but they can go. So then
it ain't like Bobby and Dennis were monsters.
No, exactly. But
you meet either one of them in a bar, you're pretty goddamn sure you can take them.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't, but you thought you could.
So then he starts to work where he wants to know about the Bucks going into business for themselves, and it's starting to shape up the storyline of what's going on in AEW. And Jimmy's trying to keep himself credible but he's setting up with these work shoot questions, and it's pretty like, you can see right through it. I commend him for doing business for the boys, but at the same time,
I'm shocked he did it.
That's what I'm saying. You can't have it both ways. You can't shoot bang
have
bang.
It both ways.
You can't shoot bang bang and have the credibility of not giving a flying fuck, and then trying to do something for your boys. Well, so now he's doing real business for AEW, which means to all the boys is Cornette is angling for a job with AEW to manage
and it does
the
come
revival
off that way. Now, here's why I've been told that won't
Let me
happen.
stop real quick. If he's going to do that after all that shit talk on Khan and them, then what's the point of stepping up and being a man and having a sit down that would rock the internet with Russo to finally come together and bury this shit and say, we only got so many spins left on this record. Let's make sure we get the most out of the music.
Who was the guy, the gangsters, the guy that he hugged when he walked in basically and confronted Cornette face to face on an interview? And one of the gangsters that gets all the heat. He's hurt so many.
New Jack?
New Jack. Trust me, there's nobody on the planet Earth that knows Jimmy as good as I do. 43 years, we were either on the phone or with each other every day for 43 years.
Yeah.
He despised New Jack 10 times worse than he could ever possibly despise Russo. The reason he hates Russo is because TNA picked Russo over Cornette once. WWE picked Cornette over Russo once. He would hate me just as bad. That's why he didn't.
So this is some fourth grade kickball picked last scenario.
The king of kickball. I called.
Well, then let's address that, and if we can get to that id of the man and get over that and massage that nerve, if that's what he needs, then bro, we've finally been able to release some tension right from where it is. You know. But
here's the thing: Russo has offered many times on my show and countless others that he would be happy to do a video chat with Jimmy to discuss their differences, and he says after we're done, you can go back to hate me. Let's do it. Let's charge X amount, and it can all go to the charity, Jimmy, of your choice, not my choice. It can go to the charity of your choice, and Jimmy still wouldn't do it. So that told me there, Jimmy doesn't want to come out as the loser of this. And regardless of your views on Trump wants to keep his base. He's not really worried about getting any of the rest of us. He wants to keep his base. Jimmy's the same way. Jimmy is more like Donald Trump than people realize. Jimmy lives like a Republican. He's not a very charitable guy, other than with the Crusade for Children, because his dad was vice president. They take in $6 million a year here on the Crusade for Children. That's why I like feeding the homeless. No one around here is going down. There's a handful of us, but nobody here is going down to the overpass and buying $50 to $60 worth of McDonald's and getting them to give us half price on what we buy because they know we're feeding the homeless. We want to put that food directly into the people's mouths. We don't want to worry if some organization's taking 20%, 30%, 50 or 80%. The Red Cross has even been accused of that from time to time.
Dude, accused of it, bro. Look at Houston. Look at Puerto Rico, dude. They were
happened to me personally when our house caught fire. All these people were coming up telling us what they donated to the Red Cross to go to the Risen family, which is what I was called then. Yeah. No, we didn't get anything like that.
Dude, it rots on the docks.
Thousands of dollars we were told about, and we never saw a dime of it.
Rots on the docks, bro. Like dog food, things for animals. Like we've done a lot of expose shows on things like that.
Well, I figured if anybody knew that shit, it would be you. You study it far more deeply than I do. But I just tell you from a personal experience, the Red Cross took a lot of it because they were told this goes to the Risings. We don't know them personally.
Red Cross was supposed to run my guns back into Afghanistan and in Zimbabwe. Screwed me over there. No, they wanted malaria. They wanted little malaria shots for everybody. Could have made me $70 million overnight. Couldn't get it done. Red Cross.
And I know I could have got a free tank of gas from you if you'd have pocketed that $70 million.
Absolutely.
No doubt about that.
Absolutely.
Where were we? Get me back on track.
Oh, no, it's the
Cornette situation. Well, just so you know, I have reached out to him, even though I feel in my heart he's wrong. I know I'm not going to swerve his base. His base was bashing me when I got on him for bashing Dana Brooke and Becky Lynch of all people.
Yeah.
Now, as close as him and Seth Rollins were, we were going to name Seth Rollins Jack Double Barrel Cannon. That is a shoot, Jimmy, because I never could think of what was his name, Tyler Black.
Tyler Black.
For some reason, my dumb ass could never think of his name. So
in February, here's what it is. In February, he always gets the voiceover for Martin Luther King Day. Vince loves him for something, so I just call him Martin, or what is it, Tyler? You can call it Tyler Black Lives Matter if you want to. That's an easy one to remember.
That's great. I like that. That's great. But no, I loved him. I loved him, and I loved his work. So every time I'd talk to Jimmy, because Jimmy was in ROH at the time, I would say, "Hey, well, how's that guy? Fucking what's his name? Jack Double Barrel Cannon." And Jimmy loved that name. And he said, "God damn it, that's over, man. Jack Double Barrel Cannon." And then Jimmy took it a step further and said, "And we got to get him a manager. We're going to make him a heel, and his manager, Cannonball." A little midget name, and we're going to name him Cannonball. So Jack Double Barrel. So we told this. He introduced me to him at the OVW show where they did the ROH taping. I don't know if you were around then yet or not.
No, I don't think I was. I think I just left.
Chris actually got to be on that show. He loved that he actually was on an ROH show, and I never was. So
I think I just left, and I started with 2CW in the Northeast.
Yeah. So he introduces me to Tyler Black, and he said, "Oh, by the way, Kenny, here's the guy you've been wanting to meet. This is Jack Double Barrel Cannon. Now, Kenny, you have Mini B. Would Mini B be open-minded to be in Cannonball?" I said, "If it pays, hell yeah, he'll be Cannonball." So that was the plan. He was going to become Jack Double Barrel Cannon. He was going to have a midget manager named Cannonball, which at that time was going to be Mini B, if you remember him.
Oh, yeah, I remember Mini Bolin.
Yeah, and he was a shoot cage fighter, 300-pound midget. Nobody's going, I wasn't going to fight him. I didn't want him mad at me. But so that was the plan. And then a few weeks later, he gets called up to the WWE in our Jack Double Barrel Cannon. So I still on Twitter refer to him as Jack Double Barrel Cannon. He knows that was going to be his name.
Yeah, I wish they've switched gimmicks. You want to talk about hot and cold in the guy, the Beast Slayer, the Architect, the Messiah, the man's man. Like, how many restarts can you give that guy? And
he's had a few.
The Messiah thing had teeth, but they just don't back it up with the right look at. Like, I would love to see that, like a Benny Hinn 700 Club. Like, you want to talk about working the system and sell merch? He could have his own infomercial every show that's just a 10-minute merch gimmick. Yeah. He doesn't even have to do shit to wrestle, man.
Did you know that Rico Constantino used to be a bodyguard for Benny Hinn? Did you know that?
No, that's funny.
He don't like to talk about it. He says he knows shit that he can never talk about, but he used to be a bodyguard for Benny Hinn.
What? I mean, that guy's a supreme
He's probably
worker.
pissed that I even brought that up, but I'd do it anyway.
Well, King B, I'm going to just say one more thing that, because this is what HAHAHA means about this is my 30th year in performance. I've been performing since I was 12 years old, and I haven't missed a year of performance.
You started before me.
Yeah, well, I
didn't actually get into entertaining or wrestling or whatever you want to call it till and getting paid for it till I was 27. So yeah, you got in way earlier than me.
Yeah, I did summer stock and everything you could do as a kid, man. So
I knew at OVW you had done improv, and man, when you do improv, if you have a love for wrestling, this is made for you.
Yeah.
Because improv is where it's at, because the scripted shit don't work.
No.
Scripted shit people read through. And why mine and Jimmy's shit was so entertaining is that we'd known each other even from our first days in the business. We'd known each other for 30 years. And when you know what the other guy's going to do and how to react to it, and me and Bobby Heenan, we'd never met each other. And one of the favorite bits I ever did is Heenan says, he says, "Kenny, you don't rehearse your shit like these guys in the back here, do you?" I said, "Fuck no." Never. And he says, "Well, here's the deal. I'm going to go to the ring. I'm here to put you over, and I have a gift for you." "Really?" I said, "Do I need to know anything else?" He says, "Nope. We're going to be just fine. I've seen your work. You've seen mine. Just go with it." That's all I knew. He had a gift. I saw the bag. Had no idea what was in the bag till he pulled it out.
Because once you start getting into scripted, plotty things, you can hear Vince McMahon's voice in it now and every promo.
And most importantly, Jimmy Cornette's voice.
Yeah.
He wanted me to be Jimmy Cornette for years. And he wanted all the boys to be Jimmy Cornette. Mm-hmm. And that only works for Jimmy Cornette.
Yeah. Otherwise, you
got to take and he told me Rico would never be a heel. And I begged him while Rico was out injured. I said, "Jimmy, he wants to be a heel. Let him with me. It will work. I promise you." Kenny, it ain't gonna fucking work. Who knows more about this, me or you? Of course, you always had to say him. And but he said, "I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you 6 fucking weeks. And when it doesn't work, he comes back babyface. That's the deal. If I can't get him over in fucking 6 weeks, then you can have him back." He never came back until the day we beat him, so he could go to the WWE.
Well.
Same with Cena.
It seemed to work out pretty well for all involved.
It worked out pretty good for everybody involved. He got 5 years in the WWE, made some good checks, and now he's worldwide known. And people and fans still love him, even though he was a heel. And he that to me, you tell me what you think. I thought the Billy and Chuck angle was one of the greatest things I'd ever seen, and not because of Rico. I never had a clue the old man was Bischoff. They said almost nobody in the building knew, other than Triple H and a handful of others, that he came in gimmick, and nobody fucking knew until he pulls off the mask.
Right.
That's the most shocked I've ever been in wrestling. Is that when he what did he say? The 3-minute warning or whatever it was to tip off it was him, and nobody in the building knew it was Eric Bischoff, other than just a handful. Pritchard claims he knew. He did not know. Everybody says no. Pritchard didn't know. Pritchard likes to say he knew. He did not know, and they kept it close to the best. They said he came in gimmick that day, and everybody just thought he was the guy that was going to marry Billy and Chuck, and I don't even know how much Billy and Chuck knew about it. But to me, it was the greatest angle I'd ever seen because it did shock the world. They got on the fucking Jay Leno show.
Sure.
They got on Jay Leno to promote their marriage on WWE.
And
well, wait a minute. We're not gay. What are you doing? We're not gay. This is just to get attention. And to me, it was one of the greatest angles I'd ever seen. All right, so what you're telling me, Ben, is that all wrestlers are gay.
Whatever, man. Have you ever walked around the house in your tighty whitey underwears and shoes on and know how weird that feels? Now imagine oiling up and grabbing onto somebody. There's a little something weird about it all the way around.
Oil up and grab onto somebody, and even in high school wrestling, I didn't like either starting position. I didn't want to be on my hands and knees, and I didn't want to be the guy behind the guy.
Well, it's not how you start, King B. It's all about how you finish, and that's right. That's right. We're gonna go over strong on all these infidel baby faces out here because it's the top heels in the business. It's the royalty coming back together again. It's the Bolin Alley Zone, star maker Kenny Bolin, the king of Kentucky, one of the greatest heel managers in the history of the game ever to do it. Infidels,
top five.
Yes, that's right. And top 19 right here in the House of Sod. It's HAHAHAMIN, HAHAHAMIN, episode 9. YOLO.